on for?
If nothing else, we're going to try and win a Grammy for this podcast. If nothing else, with the different jingles that we have. Hello, everybody, and welcome to. God, I'd say it must be about 6 weeks ago we tested out this Villa Event phone-in show piece, and we said we'd revisit it. At the time, I said I wasn't going to do it every week, but you know what? I think I might have lied back then because I was under pressure. I was like, I can't be adding another podcast into my life. But considering I'm doing one every night now, as it is, or every morning. Sorry, the illusion is broken now. I pre-record those at nighttime and put them out in the morning, just in case anybody's wondering. But the Villa Event phone-in show, yes, and I'd completely forgotten all about that jingle, and I'd forgotten about something else that we loaded up last year as well about Paddy's referent, and I was just having a good laugh at it with Paddy earlier on there before we came on. But yeah, so. The Villa Event phone-in show. Do you guys remember what it is? Do you remember the rules, I suppose, really, with regards to the phone-in show? Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop up a little banner here underneath the screen. And it's essentially, this is what it is. Basically, all calls have to be on WhatsApp. I do have to ask you if you're 18 years or older. Reasons being here is, you know, I don't have to, but I don't really want to be talking to somebody who's under 18 for obvious reasons. Because, you know, old men shouldn't be talking to people under the age of 18 without anybody's consent. But basically, we will only be able to accept WhatsApp calls only. But if you call the number, it's on the bottom of the screen there, +353 8921774440. You should be able to get through to us, and we are going to test this and go live. Now, the topic of today's conversation is, if anything, what has confused you the most about this off season? So there's a lot of things going on. I think there's a lot of anger, Paddy. I think there's a lot of disillusionment because I think we're all bloody confused.
And that's what the anger is all about. Everybody's confused. Nobody can wrap their head around this and wondering why we're in the state we're in. I understand the squad cost ratio stuff, but the PSR stuff, I just can't get my head around. Any sign of anybody ringing in?
Not yet, but we'll give him a bit of time. So, like, I'm not too worried about PSR because essentially we've passed the PSR deadline. That's fine. We're grand on that, and that's the Premier League. It's the UEFA stuff that's kind of killing us at the moment. And plus, PSR isn't going to be in effect from next year anyway. There's going to be an SCR version for it's going to be like a Premier League version, which is a small bit less stringent indeed. And there's also a top to bottom spending cap, quote unquote soft spending cap, that's going to be in place as well from next year. So I'm not too worried about PSR, but the SCR I think was always going to need to be solved at some stage. I'm just kind of pissed off at how we have to do it, you know. But if anybody wants to ring in, we can have a chat about it, because I'd like to hear what I suppose what with regards to the SCR confuses people, because what we'll do is I won't have the answers. We'll fucking look it up on the internet together, and let's make this a crowdsourcing and a crowdsourcing of an information source, and try and trash it out together. So if somebody wants to ring the number that's on the bottom of the screen, it's +35, and WhatsApp only, please, if you can. It's +353 89 217 7440. If you give that a shout and let me know if it is connected. We tested this prior to coming on, so it should work. If anybody wants to ring that number, you will get through to us because the lines are open. Paddy, let's talk a small bit about the Paqueta news. I'll let you go first, because I think there's layers like an onion to this thing.
What's the news? I haven't heard any update other than we were trying to sign him.
Jacob Steinberger, who is reporting for the Guardian, specifically on West Ham, said, "Oh, we've got a call coming in, Paddy. We'll get back to that in a moment. So we're going to answer this call." Hello, caller.
Hello, mate.
Hello. How are we doing? Can everybody hear this on the actual broadcast? I'm sure they can. How are you? Who are we speaking to? And are you over the age of 18?
Yes, I am.
How's your evening going?
It's Chris from Birmingham.
Chris, great to hear from you, Chris. Great to hear from you. What, if anything, has confused you most about this off-season, Chris?
You know what? I went to the Brentford weekend and everything felt really disjointed. A lot of strange decisions from selection to changes that were way too late. We seem to be very reactive and passive at the moment. How you guys are feeling?
Yeah, Paddy, I'll let you take that one there about about us being reactive and passive. Why do you think that has come into effect, Paddy?
I didn't hear what he said at the start there. He just froze on me.
Oh, sorry, I might have frozen there.
Yeah.
You take it, Neil, because I didn't hear what he said.
Okay, basically, I think the reactivity, why we're being so reactive and not controlling as much is, do you know what I genuinely believe it is? I genuinely believe that the team is more or less not institutionalized, but potentially there's a case whereby they're too familiar with their play pattern and they've become too rigid in their play pattern. And I think that's down to the fact that you're asking John McGinn to play a right wing, you're asking Morgan Rogers to play a left wing, and you're playing somebody through the middle. And, I think realistically, as I said in the preview show, I think if you join the Mavericks like the Gassans and the Malins, you might have that kind of bit of a spark. What do you think, Chris?
I absolutely agree. I think there's I don't know if have we become a little bit too relaxed? I don't know if that's a word to kind of use. We definitely seem a little bit too times expecting things to happen, or teams to almost fold like they did a couple of years ago, and it's not really happening. So but look, it's way too early forming any like solid judgment on the team. This is not negative, but just constructive, Chris.
And I think that's fair as well. I think it's fair because the constructive criticism is like, I think that's, how will I word this, Chris? How do I word it? Like, I think it's absolutely 100% fair after the start we've had to have constructive criticism. I think that, obviously on social media, the criticism can be overboard at times. And that's fine. And people can have that opinion if they genuinely hold that opinion. But I think a lot of people get wrapped up in that, and that's fine too. But I think that you can't have anything but kind of constructive criticism for the first two games that we've had so far. What do you think, Paddy?
Yeah, it's like, I think any criticism is is fine once it's fair.
Yeah.
And look, I know from the coaching that I've done. I know it's a few years since I did my UEFA license, but managers have a system and they want to play to that system and they want to keep that system. If you look at what Jurgen Klopp done and what Guardiola done, maybe to a fault with some stuff, but they stick to the system. They don't change things up. They keep persevering until they break things down. I just think we're a little bit off with the quality of players we have in the final third to do that. We had for a number of years we had Bertie T coming off the bench, and he only did it a couple of times, but it's just that, you know, that goal against Leicester that stands out. Was it the other one against West Brom? I think he scored. And, you know, you just need some of that sprinkling of dust, the magic dust, just to come off the bench to sort something out. And we just haven't been able to do it when we're up against that low block. The one that always springs to mind wasn't Arsenal went down to 10 men and they parked the bus against Manchester City last year. Do you remember that? And they celebrated like they won the league and they come out with a draw. That's the mentality of the manager. You know, he has said to himself, the only way I'm going to get anything out of this game is to keep this at a draw, keep it tight, park the bus, absolutely frustrate the hell out of Manchester City, and don't let anybody go over the halfway line. And that's what they did for whatever amount of time. There was only 10 of them on the pitch. So it's where do we go from here? Do we stick with the system? Do we do what Unai Emery is trying to do and do a Guardiola or an Arteta and stick to the plan? Or do we throw a maverick in there like a Bertie T, like a John Duran? You know, who is going to be that one that just sparks into, like, you look at the goals John Duran scored last year. There was no low block in the world going to stop that goal against Everton or the one against Bayern Munich, and there was a couple more like it as well. So it's just to have that element of magic that you can pull from the bench. I don't know if Gassand, I haven't seen enough of him to see if it's that. I haven't even seen enough of Malin to know if he's got that. So do we sign someone? Do we get Asensio in to unpick those locks, to do that, something a little bit different? That's what I think he's trying to do. I genuinely believe Asensio will still come in. Paqueta, that we touched on there at the start, is someone that can do that. I'm not a big fan of him as a person, I'm going to say, because the only thing I can see is somebody that throws himself on the ground and but from time to time gets away with it. But I as a player, he's a remarkable player playing in a mediocre team. So I think he would be a good signing. And if he was throwing himself on the ground and getting away with it, I think we'd put up with it, because it's us that's benefiting from it. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that. But I think there just needs that little bit of magic to come in there. He obviously sees Asensio as someone who can do that, and that's why we're persevering with getting that job done.
Yeah. Anything else, Chris, that's kind of frustrating you?
I suppose is obviously the rumours, the transfer rumours that keep coming up, and I think one thing this window is that any links at the moment seem to be kind of way off the mark, and just wait and see. I still think we're going to get maybe one more signing. I think we'll get one more in and see. But if it is, I think we'd be happy. But yeah, that's my main takeaway, really.
Chris, I'm going to throw this question to everyone, a bonus question for everyone. Hypothetical world here, and I threw it out on Twitter. Emi Martinez goes to Saudi on Monday, and that allows us to bring in more players. Do you do that deal?
Oh man, that is a tough one.
It's a poison pill, isn't it?
Yeah. Based on what I've seen from business so far, based on one game and a bit of pre-season, I'm going to say yeah. But that is by no means a sort of success. But yeah, I would. Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah. And look, I suppose there's pros and cons to both of them. I threw this one at you there, so you had no time to even think about it, Chris. So thanks thanks for pinning your colours to the mast. Anyway, listen, Chris, thanks a million for calling in there. Absolutely brilliant. Really appreciate it. And I'm glad that Chris is working. And hopefully we get to see Villa win tomorrow against Palace.
Keep it up. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa is right. Thanks, Chris. Excellent. Brilliant stuff. That was excellent start from Chris there. Anybody else?
While you're waiting on the next caller to ring in, is it a case that the Saudi transfer market closes after hours, as it's done previously? Do we know that?
My phone is buzzing. I think somebody is calling us. Yes, my phone is buzzing. Good afternoon. Are you over 18 in here? Are you here to talk about Aston Villa? And I've got a funny feeling that you might be in the county of Cork.
Hey Neil, how you doing?
I'm doing great. You know that voice, Paddy?
Is it Ronan?
No.
Dennis, how are you here, Paddy? How are you getting on?
Dennis, how are you? Are you well?
I'm good, bye. I'm good. I just decided to ring in there. I'm seriously frustrated with the lack of transfers. Particularly, I know we're under like restrictions with TSR and SCR and everything, but like talks of key players leaving in the final days and week of the window, seems that there's no structure in place at Villa. Like everybody is sellable at the club, you know. And like even hypothetically speaking, he was saying there that Emi Martinez, if he sold on Monday, like that's total. That to me, that's total mismanagement. You know, like Emi Bundia, you know, what's he doing at the club? He's going to do nothing. He's going to warm the bench every year. He should have been sold. Asensio should have been brought in already at game week 2. You know, we need an Asensio. He holds up the play. You know, he dictates the ball. We have been losing possession in the final third and being caught on transition. It's every week. We've been conceding goals, particularly last season, getting caught in transition. We need Asensio there, you know, and we need one more wide attacker. We're really stuck on the right. Like everybody can see it. Get a right defender or a right wing back or a right centre half. Konza needs competition. He doesn't have it. He's getting complacent. You know, it's just totally frustrating. A club as big as Villa, like we have sold like 208 worth of talent since last June. Like it's insane. You know, a club as big as Villa. Like it's so soul destroying to see all the hard work of the last 3 years under Unai. And it looks to me like it's all going up in smoke. I think we're going to have a really average season.
Dennis, do you think, like, I get, like, obviously I get the frustration in your voice as well, and obviously, look, knowing you as well outside of this phone call, but it's more of a, like, do you know the phrase hate the player, not the game? This one is pretty much hate the game, not the player, I suppose, really, because we're in a kind of, is it fair to say that we're in a kind of a position that, you know, we're dealing with you were talking about mismanagement there. We're dealing with mismanagement from 3 to 4 years ago, when this administration, if you want to call it, was not in place. That's where we're kind of getting kicked in the arse now from a wages point of view from back then, and a lack of revenue. Is it fair to say that with regards to this mismanagement? Did you view the mismanagement from coming from other areas? Because like online, you see, well, Unai can't buy people. You know, he's not able to buy people. He just doesn't have any scouting brain in his body, and Manchi isn't able to do this and stuff like that. But the restrictions for me, I think, are coming from 3 to 3.5 to 4 years ago, and potentially this is the kind of the fat and the bacon that might have been left by Purslow, but I don't know that for sure. What do you think, Dennis?
Oh, 100%. Like you're 100% there. Like Dendoncker and Coutinho and all these guys that were brought in, like in stupid money, you know, wasted money. Like even like fair play to the likes of Luca Dean there, like taking a pay cut. You know, Tyrone Mings taking a pay cut, and even the rumor that Marco Asensio is going to take a pay cut to come to Villa. You know, that says a lot about the club. It does, like. But just what really guiles me is how much are these guys on that were breaking UEFA rules? You know, like we don't have a big squad now. You know, and we're still breaking UEFA rules with like the 22 players.
And that's a great point, Dennis, as well, because it's like the thing that I think the well has been muddied, I suppose, really, because we were talking about PSR, we cleared that bucket or that hurdle on the 1st of June or 30th of June, whatever it was. But then SCR then kicked in, and SCR was 70% of your revenue from last year. So you could only spend 70% of your revenue from last year And we were up against the wall at 90. The correct figure I think was 84%. So we'd cut 14% of our wage budget before we even signed someone. And I think that, you know, that's the issue. And that, you know, arguably that's probably been done. Well, we are. I would wager that we're under the 70% now, but just about, because when you've the Dendonkers, you mentioned the Coutinhos, the Robin Olsen, like, I don't know if any of the wages on Capology are true. I would wager that they're not, because I've got stories behind, you know, sending emails in there, and next thing all of a sudden, a day later, it's changed to the value that I sent in for a player. I wanted to test the waters on it. But that's not to say that those haven't been fixed now. That was 2.5 years ago. But like, if you're looking at the Robin Olsen was on 60 grand, Coutinho was on 140, and, you know, then Donker was on 70 grand, all that kind of stuff. They're no longer at the club. But what I think the big thing here is we've no idea what our revenue was last year. And that's where the vacuum is been created here, because the problem with the club is revenue. And at the moment, the kick in the arse for everybody is it's the fans that are generating that revenue, as opposed to the club, if that makes sense, as opposed to the extracurriculars from the club. So when I talked about the previous administrations doing, you know, bringing in all these players, they didn't increase the revenue anywhere near like the current administration have. But I think the current administration probably have Chris Heck, I suppose, really more so than anything else, has to shoulder blame, because the apathy that's turned quickly with the fan base after a successful 3 seasons is because if success dies out, the sustainability of ticket prices and, you know, concession prices and everything around Villa Park will be huge. It will be huge. You know, people will be apathetic towards that.
Hello?
Oh, can you hear me? Am I gone? Did you lose me?
Hello?
Can you still hear me, Paddy? I think I lost
hear you.
Dennis. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the call just dropped there, and Dennis. Apologies there, Dennis. I don't know if you can still hear us, and that call just dropped. See, there you go.
More gremlins. Good to hear from you though, Dennis. Hope you're still listening, or your Wi-Fi hasn't gone down or something.
Exactly.
One thing that came into my mind there as we were chatting, I missed the days where we're linked to a player, or we're not linked to a player. A player just arrives, and there's nothing in the press, and there's nobody jumping in and taking our players, which seems to be what's happening.
We have another call. Paddy. Good afternoon. Are you over 18? And do you like to talk about Aston Villa? Oh, there's a Limerick accent anyway.
The last time I saw 18 was on a door. I'm 55, so.
How are you doing? Paddy, do you recognise that voice? I have the beauty of seeing names pop up on the screen here.
I'd hazard a guess that that's John Steele.
It is indeed, yeah.
Good to hear from you, John.
I'm not kind of a... Hey, how are you doing, Paddy? I'm not confused about what's going on. It's disappointing, but I think it's basically the elite. Well, let's not call them the elite. They're a cartel. They're getting their European Super League by fair means or foul, because we are being punished for our success. And you know, you have clubs like United who are owned and ran on debt only. You know, they're firing their kitchen staff. They're cutting all the lower hanging fruit, and they're still able to finish 15th in the league, and they're able to go out and spend whatever they want within reason. You know, your Chelsea, like, fair play to them. You know, I mean, we copied them in the Premier League should be going, no way. You're selling your hotels to yourself. You're selling your women's team to yourself. You know, what's the point in that? Like, there has to be, like, we are a sustainable business model. It's very wealthy owners. We've the lowest debt. I think our debt is around 32 million.
It's 21 and 20. It's actually less. I think it's 19 now, and that's a loan to the owners.
That's right. Yeah, it's to ourselves. You know, so like, why can't that be looked at? Like, this is a sustainable. Like, they can see we're a growing club. We have the warehouse, and I don't care about tradition. I'd fill in the corners of that stadium as well, like up to capacity. You know, I know that the North Stand will be finished in the middle of the season after next. That brings us up to 50, which is healthy enough. I know they'll continue to do all of that, but it won't matter because they'll keep changing the rules. I mean, like, Liverpool have just gone strides ahead of us. And I will say about Liverpool, they haven't spent a hell of a lot, and they've sold players to be able to, you know, to have that outlay on new signings. Now, personally, I think they've gone slightly backwards with the new signings. It'll take them a while to bed in. But like the whole, like, I think Villa are taking a hit in this season. I honestly do. I think, like, let's get out from under this PSR rock. Let's have a season of stability. We probably won't qualify for Europe unless we win a cup or unless we win the Europa League, and that's fine by me. You know, that's absolutely fine. I'd love us to be in the Champions League every season, but if we have to build slowly, I'm absolutely fine with another season of mediocrity. It's frustrating, but if it's for the greater good.
John, you made a good point there about Europe. You know, about not qualifying for Europe, because, like, realistically speaking, we're goal difference and Amy Martin is red card away from not having these issues that we have. Because you know,
exactly.
We really are, because no, we would have like it's, you know, would we have been able to leverage money against future earnings and stuff like that to bring players in this year? Who knows? But you also mentioned something else there that I can't remember. I should have started writing this down, because you actually you covered some really good ground there. You covered some really good ground there, John, about you know, about filling in the corners in Villa Park. I spoiler alert, everyone, I think that's coming. And I don't have an issue with that either. But the big thing here is it's going to go to 51,000 pretty soon. Like, and Paddy, like, do you think that obviously the fabled 25,000 season ticket waiting list and stuff like that, do you think Villa could sustain a stadium of 65,000? Is it a case of build it and they will come?
Not at the moment. I think until we have success and there's silverware to celebrate, I think that's going to be very, very difficult. I think this, and John makes a good point about this season, that they may have just hit the pause button and hoping they can get through with what they have and maybe win a cup that will lead us into Europe again next year. But I don't believe we're going to look at full stadia for the Europa League games. I think that's going to be a wake-up call for us, for the owners, for the players. I genuinely believe there's going to be ample tickets, and we discussed this in a group of Lions clubs today or yesterday, whatever it was. I don't think there's going to be any issue getting tickets for the European games this year. The one thing that John said there about that possibly pressing a reset or a pause button. Do you worry, John, that, you know, Unai Emery, what's he now, 53, 54? Does he see this as his last hurrah, or could he get pants in the pants and go, you know what, I've an opportunity to go somewhere else. They can spend, they can give me what I want, and he'll just up sticks. That's my biggest concern, because I have a big birthday coming up next year, and it's 30 years since I've seen Villa lift the trophy, save for the playoff trophy. And I'm genuinely concerned that I won't get to celebrate these days. I won't see them coming. I wasn't that way this time last year, but this year I'm going, what am I at here? How could I justify all this spend to myself to go and see Aston Villa from a different country? And in the back of my mind, I'm going, is the manager thinking the same thing? Does he want to be back in Spain in the sunshine, away from, you know, what Birmingham can be like in November, December, January, and February? I know which one I'd prefer. And you know, if he can't do what he's trying to do because he's operating with one hand tied behind his back, as we discussed earlier today, Neil, do you worry that that's it? That this is he'll go, okay, I can't take these guys any further. I'll cut my losses and get out of here.
I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. I mean, obviously, I could be radically wrong, but, you know, what club is he going to go to that's going to give him the autonomy that he has at Aston Villa? You know, I mean, like, the buck stops with him. You know, I mean, he's got the keys to the kingdom here. Like, for instance, if he went to United, he'd be hamstrung. If he went to Chelsea, even worse. You know, like, even if he went off to Spain, they're not going to give him the power that he has at Villa. And I've read a couple of biographies of Unai Emery, and he seems to be a fairly loyal kind of guy. You know, I know he hasn't stayed more than 3 years at any club, but at the same time, he hasn't had the power that he's had. I mean, I think his first managerial position, I can't remember the club, but he went straight from being a player halfway through a season in a relegation. They were in a relegation zone, and he ended up qualifying for Europe. You know, similar story to when he started with us, but he went straight from playing. I mean, the guy Juan Mata loves him. There's a chapter in one of the books about him, talking about Emery, and he says the line, "Unai Emery is sick with football. He's just obsessed with it." Like, you know, so like he lives and breathes it, and I honestly think he's landed. Like, there's always a good fit with manager and club. There seems to be a certain manager, like, except United. I think United was kind of a broken flush now, or busted flush now. But like with Villa, he's found a home there. But I honestly think, you know, that okay, the time will come when you leave. You know, but we have owners that are willing to spend it. I'm sure they're sitting down in a room with him saying, "Look, we'd give you all the cash you want if these rules weren't in place." You know, so, and I think we will win a trophy under Emery.
And John,
it'd be a shame if we didn't.
And John, do you like? I think we've kind of come full circle with that. Like, you know, you mentioned about pressing reset on this year. Is that pretty much conversation? Is, look, if there's going to be a year where we're going to have to reset, but it's for the greater good in the future years. Fans don't want to hear that. Yeah. I certainly don't want to hear that. It's been a bane in my life over the last 60 days. But it's a potential. I think it's a high potential at this stage.
Yeah, I think so. I think, like, basically, like Paddy's right. He's playing with one hand tied behind his back. You know, like I'm sure that he understands that if this is a reset, then we will have money to spend in the summer, and he can go again. Because you've got to remember as well, with the spine of this squad, we're playing under Dean Smith. You know, so like it's an aging. There's very vital positions that we're aging in. You know, so there is going to have to be a lot of investment put in at some stage, and I think he knows that. I mean, you know, like come next summer, I think we'll see a radical difference in the squad.
Well, I think Twitter would love that. More so than anything else, Twitter might become a kumbaya moment if that was happening, because no matter who we're linked to, there's always conjecture. Listen, John, thanks so much for calling in. Really appreciate that. That's been you know, excellent points as always, John, and enjoy yourself and hope you have a great night.
Good to hear from you, John. Come and have a pint with us tomorrow if you're around Limerick.
I might do. Right. Take care.
All the best, John. Good luck.
Cheers, John. Bye-bye.
Excellent. Another great conversation with another great listener to the podcast. And that phone line is back open again. And we've got one coming straight in. Oh no. What happened? Why can't I answer it? Incoming call. Here we go.
Nice.
Hello. Are you over 18? Do you want to talk about Aston Villa?
Yes, I am. Good evening, both. I'm Black Country Villain.
Ah, excellent. Great to see you. Great to hear from you.
And to you, it's just amazing what you do. I'm recovering from a stroke. Everything that you do really helps me.
I'm so sorry to hear that you're recovering. How's your recovery going? Well, actually, I suppose we should... Yeah, how is your recovery going? Without going into medical details, obviously,
it's going better. So I will apologise with my speech, because if I make a mistake, it's genuine. It's not a deliberate.
Well, no, listen,
thing.
You're doing great. You're doing great. And how do you? What's your feeling on this off season as well?
I think the off season went in. The latter part went really well. And yeah, it would be great, to sign. We do need to sign 2 or 3 more players. As what's been said before, that it is as like the spine is what was Dean Smith's squad.
Is yeah.
But you know, I'm very. Look, we're just really lucky to have a great manager and some really great players. But I think the authorities are definitely against us, aren't they? They don't want us to succeed anyway. In any way, even the refs. I mean, and that's why Paddy, I love you when you go on about the refs. And it'd be nice if you didn't have to, because we wouldn't be having such bad decisions. But that's great. And my condolences, Paddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So apologies. There must be. I know what I'm trying to say, but sometimes I just can't get the words.
You're doing
words
great.
out.
Take your time. You're doing great.
You're doing absolutely fine there, and you probably can't see it at the moment, but there's a lot of love there in the chat for you, and we wish you all the best with your recovery, and keep continuing to get yourself strong. And it's great to put a voice to the names that are on the screen, because that's all we've got to relate to. And I know you're always in the chat, and it's great to chat with you. Do you still get down to Villa yourself?
Rarely. I work. I've got a full-time job, which I'm just like phasing back into that. I work at Warsaw as a car park steward.
Okay.
So I do. I got to see. Well, I got to see when we played one of the pre-seasons, but I can say I didn't see it because I was watching the crowd. So
yeah.
But it's just. I just feel it's so. Look, I just like what you said earlier, Paddy, about hoping that we'll win a trophy, and I have that feeling like because I've got 3 sons, and I'd really like that to happen. And last season, you know, when we got to the semi-final of the cup, my dad, he was really thought we were gonna do it, and he really wants us to win that one. He saw it on TV when we beat Man U in '57. He said he really would like that to happen for us as well. But I just would like, it would just be so great for us to win a trophy, and for my sons as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not just me, for everyone really. But it would just be.
No, I totally get what you're saying. I have a 20-year-old son, and it's taken everything in my power to keep him as a Villa fan throughout the years, and to experience one of those with him would be just it would mean everything to me. So I can only imagine, you know, what way you're feeling about it as well. And look, it's great that we're all one big family and we can suffer together and celebrate together. But there's a lot of things at play when things don't go the way we want to. Sorry, I'm cutting across you. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can. Sorry, it's me. Sorry for interrupting you.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I just feel the various regulations, you know, the PSR, SCR. I just really wish. I mean, because we were going to get a 50,000, but even 50,000, I don't think is big enough. And if we could some way make Villa bigger, and the only way we could do it is, this is obviously my imagination, so forgive me on that, is that if we could like make Doug Ellis's one like the Trinity. And I know it's like unlikely, but that would us to get to like closer to 60,000 eventually.
I think it's doable.
Revenue even more.
I think it's certainly doable. And the annoying part, I think, for me about the stadium is to get to, like, if you think about it, West Ham got their stadium during the Olympics. Man City got their stadium during the Commonwealth Games. And you would have thought that, you know, this Euros that's coming up, Villa could have gotten the full revamp of their stadium. Yes, they're going to get it to 50K or whatever, but a full revamp of the stadium to get it to 60, like the competitive, like I don't care what anyone says, and you know, I'm not in the weeds on it, but like there is a competitive advantage to be handed a stadium essentially after a big event like that. Remember Barry Hearn was looking for Leyton Orient to get the Olympic Stadium remember that? Like what a wonderful time that was when that's all you had to worry about in football. But yeah, I go for it, sorry.
Yeah, and like that's right, and like obviously when they were in charge of Birmingham, they were trying to get a free trophy in the, somewhere near the NEC, weren't they, to get the national one built there?
Yeah,
they got the wish in the end, though, didn't they?
They did indeed, for sure.
But I mean, I'm not going to take much of your time because I'm just so pleased to speak to you and to give everybody else a chance. But thank you for so much for entertaining me. It being speaking and just watching the podcasts and that really helps my mental health and my emotional health. So God bless you. All the best. Up the Villa.
Thank you so much for that. Like Black Country Villain, that means an awful lot when you say that. And you know, wish you all the best in your recovery because you're doing great. And for somebody who came on and said that that they were worried about their speech, it was absolutely perfect. So you know, thank you so much for calling in and being brave enough to call in as well.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Just echo what Neil says. And everybody knows we do this. We do this for no money. Obviously, it costs money to put this on the road, and we appreciate when people can donate and do whatever for us. But to get a call like this, and often people would stop me going into Villa Park and say something similar, but it's comments like that keep us going because they're much more appreciated than some of the drivel that we can get online and some of the annoyance. And it's funny because when people do message in and say they love hearing about referees and me giving out about referees, most of the ire I get online is because I'm giving out about referees. So it's good to hear the other side of that too. But best luck with your recovery. Really great to hear from you and really appreciate the call. Thanks a million.
Thank you so much. You talking to you really helps me. Thank you.
Excellent.
And thank you.
Have a great rest of your day, and feel free, as always, you're always welcome to give a shout in whenever we're doing these Black Country Villains. So thank you so much for that. That's brilliant. That's actually kind of caught me. It kind of caught me a small bit there, you know. Great to hear such an inspirational story there, as Richie Ryan says there. And we really do wish you the best in your recovery, Black Country Villain, for sure. Absolutely.
So much love in the comments there for him as well. Thanks to everybody for all that. I hope he gets to read them when he's gone off here.
Exactly. For sure. We have someone else is just after calling in. And are you over the age of 18? And are you here to talk about Aston Villa?
I certainly am over 18. It's Michael Huggins speaking.
I know this voice, exactly. It's like if we pre-planned some of these calls to come in. I nearly know. It's funny. I know who's ringing me, but yeah, this wasn't pre-planned. Michael, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm just at work at the moment, standing outside in the rain. But I thought I'd definitely try and give you a call tonight to give you guys some support and love.
Yeah, and what are you most confused about in this off season, Michael?
I'm not so much confused. Going on from the past callers that have rang in tonight, I do believe that this season we are in a bit of a reset. And the reason why I say that is I'm looking at the age of the squad. And I do believe that next season, I think we're going to see a lot of changes with the playing staff at Villa Park. And I think we need the funds next season to do that.
I think it's a fair point. You know, we're in, like, Father Time is undefeated, Michael. I can tell you that for certain. I woke up yesterday and I realized I wasn't 23 anymore. I don't know where that came out of. It just hit me like a wet clipper around the side of the head. But yeah, look, I think obviously, you know, the defense isn't getting any younger. You know, Pau Torres is what, 27, 28 years of age. Tyrone Mings is 33, I think, 32, 33. Dina is in around the same. Matty Cash is in his late 20s too, well, 27, 28, 29 maybe. You know, there will need to be a bit of open heart surgery on that defense at some stage. But it's definitely something that the club, like, you could take it two ways. And I never even thought of this until you mentioned it, Michael. But you know, the club is could be in a situation where they're saving for potentially the rainier day, where they need to spend a lot more money. Now, it could always backfire because maybe they could have misevaluated the current squad that they had, and the drop off maybe as age comes along. But maybe it's a chance that they're willing to take. Because I fail to think if we're in the Champions League that we don't see at least 5 new faces already in this squad. What's your view on it?
Yeah. I do think, yeah, we are running light in the squad this season. But I think one of the big issues, that not just for Aston Villa, but the whole of the league, is what's going on with Manchester City. And that seems to be, you know, they seem to be getting away with absolute murder. You know, why haven't we got a decision on what's going on there to put everybody in the picture so we know exactly where we all stand and what we have to do to move forward? Well, with going back to your question with regards to the squad, I think it is a bit of the last season saloon, if for want of a better word, for a few of our players. And I think we've grown very close to this squad. There's a lot of love for the players. So it's always very difficult to try and say this player has to go or whatever. But realistically, as you know, as you get older, you lose that natural speed. And I think, unfortunately, we have to be ruthless, and a number of players will have to go at the end of the season.
Yeah, well, look, I suppose, as you said, like, Father Time is undefeated, and I would imagine those conversations are probably being had, or have been had, this off season with some of the contracts that have been signed, the elongation of contracts for lesser wages. You know, maybe you could say writing is on the wall in some of those situations as well. Yeah. Anything else, Paddy? What's your views on it?
No, just the Man City thing is something that really irks me, that you know, we've got 115 charges, or we're led to believe there's more of them now at this stage, and yet we get fined for having too many bloody footballs around the pitch. And you gotta ask yourself, where's the priority, and what the hell is going on? So it is frustrating every time somebody mentions the Manchester City, because it's nearly 3 years now since we had the conversation, and they made that announcement, which was, as I keep going back to, the week before we played them, and spurred them on to an even better performance against us, which really annoyed me that week. And yet here we are, still waiting on it. And yeah, and we can get fined for having too many footballs around the pitch. And Forest and Everton dock points and all that kind of stuff. It just stinks to high heaven that they can do whatever they like to us. They can put us under savage pressure. Yet the likes of Manchester United, who are we're led to believe are hundreds of thousands, millions in debt, and yet can buy and do whatever they like. It just, the whole thing stinks to me, and it's becoming increasingly hard to get up for, like, I understand that people living in Birmingham, it's easier to get there. If I go there, you're talking the price of a flight, maybe the price of a hotel, to pay the season ticket every year. It's very hard to justify that when we don't feel we're being treated fairly, and I don't think we're being treated fairly, and that has me in the lull that I'm in. Not specifically about Villa, it's just about football in general. That, you know, the rich are getting richer. We're a rich club, and we can't get any richer because they've put all these rules in our way to make things harder for us. There were no allowances made for the fact that these clubs have had a head start. It's just protecting the people who said that they were going into a European Super League, and we can't find any way back into that because they've put all these things in our way.
I'm glad you guys brought that up because that's exactly the point. John Steele mentioned it, the European Super League by a different name, and that's what I didn't write down that time where I said he made a brilliant point. So I'm delighted this point came up again about the Man City 115 again. Yeah. Michael, have you long left in your break or do you need to get back to work?
No, I'm in total control, so I've got everything all ready to go.
Good stuff.
Good
stuff.
I'm fine.
Excellent.
Good to hear from you, Michael. We'll see you soon.
Yes, please let me know when you're over again, and it'd be great to meet up with
Absolutely.
you all. And I owe you both a meal as well.
Not at all. Not at all. I don't know when I'm going to get over to Villa Park, but I've just done something for complete nostalgia and booked a trip to Rotterdam for the Feyenoord game. I don't know if I'm going to get a ticket, but I've threatened to do this so many times, and I just booked it tonight. And I went, you know what? I'm getting too old now, and this might not come around again. So I'm going to Rotterdam for the game, whether I get a ticket or not. I'll watch it in the pub if needs be.
Exactly.
Yes. And hopefully, I will be travelling over to Ireland to meet up with you when you organise a few things.
And Michael, if you bring the bike,
I'll let you go. Have a great night.
If you bring the bike, Michael, I might even don the spandex again.
Hello?
We'll see, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah. Yes. Take care, both.
Good stuff, Michael. Thank you very much for
care.
calling in.
Michael.
All the best. Do you know what, guys? We're going to take one more. Paddy, I don't know. Do you might have to be somewhere, do you? If you need to go now, don't be afraid to drop off. We might take one more call and we might call it a day at that afterwards. But this is going swimmingly. We have got somebody coming in here. I don't know who this is for sure. But caller, make yourself known. And are you over the age of 18?
Not only am I over the age of 18, I'm over 18 stone. And I never thought I'd be sitting in here on a
I know that voice.
sitting with a couple of crabby ginger beers, thinking I'm watching Babe Station when in fact I'm actually watching Hunk Station. Up the Villa, and if Rogers isn't playing in number 10 tomorrow, I'm going on an awful session of beer. I'm not going to want any reply off you. Up the Villa, you're two gorgeous men. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you for what you do, and I love you, and good night.
Good man, Vinny. Good man. I just knew the voice, and that one came in.
Gone?
Yeah, he's gone again. We've got someone else. He's just hung up there. We've got someone else popping in. Hello, Connor. Make yourself known. And are you over the age of 18? That is a very nice looking dog in your.
Michael Richards thinks his father's head.
How are you, lads?
Good. Who have we?
Paul here.
Paul, great to hear from you. How's things?
I'm good, thanks. Here's my question to you. What do you think? Would you sacrifice Rod if it meant being able to rebuild the squad?
Oh, I posited a question earlier about would you sacrifice Martinez if it meant in the squad? Go for it, Paddy. I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, only because I didn't answer when you said this earlier on. When you said would you sacrifice Martinez? If it was one or the other, it would be Martinez that I would sacrifice. But we don't. The biggest problem here is we don't know if we have to sacrifice somebody.
Yeah.
Nobody is. We obviously can't show our hand and tell the world what we need to do. I think we will be told a lot more come maybe Tuesday. But if it meant that we could bring in 3 or 4 players before the transfer, and I know how unlikely that is now at 9:10 on Saturday night when it's less than 48 hours before it closes. But if it meant that we could bring in 3 or 4, I think it has to be done, regardless of whether you're talking about Morgan Rogers, Ollie Watkins, or Emi Martinez, who effectively they're our crown jewels, along with Yuri Tielemans with regards to what they're worth. And if I felt they had to do it, I'd be okay with it, regardless of who it was at this stage, because the further we fall behind, the less chance we've got Europe next year, unless we go and win a trophy, as we discussed earlier.
If I posit this to you, Paul, do you think that there's a non-zero chance, or is there a world we can live in where Villa turn around on Monday and go, haha, we played the poor soldier, we fooled you all, we're actually fucking loaded, and we're going to sign about 4 players for 50 million, and we didn't tell Tanswell, we didn't tell Townley, we didn't tell anyone.
Well, I'm not even talking in relation to. No, I'm not even talking in relation to this window. Maybe talking the next one or next summer. It's just what pissed me off is PSR and this 96%, which was over 13 months.
Yeah,
I think we were starting to get it managed anyway. Obviously, not hitting Champions League this year cost us a lot, but I think we would have been still under some pressure. It does piss me off when you're talking about Man City, but my concern was the word reset, and this year being used for a reset, and it's come up a few times tonight. It's just, if it's a reset, I don't know if we're going to get back. And I don't know if Emery will have the fight to get back.
And I think that's a great point, Paul, because arguably, and I would say very arguably, every year Brighton do a reset because of the amount of people they sell. And they get to a certain level, but they've never kicked into Europe properly. They've never done it 3 years in a row like we have. Yeah, it's well and good to have the balance sheet like they do and to unearth all these gems, and to have Chelsea, who basically just have yeah, exactly. They just have a purchase agreement off you, like as if you're buying, like as if you're a potato farmer selling into the Hunky Dory's factory or into the Pringles factory. Like that's essentially what it is. Chelsea are the Pringles factory, and Brighton are the potato farmer. It's all well and good having that, but Brighton fans obviously are delighted. They're happy enough, but will there come a time whereby 8th the whole time isn't really great for them, and they're going like, well, if we kept all these players, we could be in Champions League. So I like that. That's a great point you make, Paul. It's like when the reset doesn't go right and you try to do a reset, how far do you set yourself back, and the fear of that unknown as well?
There's that, and then look. Well, you mentioned Chelsea there. What annoys me, when your man they signed before for 90 million at Arsenal, wanted, and he's failed the drug test, and now he's gone.
Mudrick, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if that was us, that would goose us for 2 seasons.
Oh, more. 5 seasons.
And that would ruin our club. That would ruin our club. Actually, that would ruin everything for us and be our sense. And I look, I saw a comment the other day, and I kind of agreed with it to a small degree. Was when we were off playing Walsall for 20 years ago, and United were going off to Asia, and we're slagging them. That's why they have the revenue now. Maybe we don't. We didn't have the foresight, or maybe we shouldn't have had the foresight, because it shouldn't have been about revenue. It's about getting the best players in. But it's just, look, I think we're all frustrated, and having to talk about resets coming off 3 years in Europe when we do have wealthy owners. We are, and that's why the 96% thing was annoying me, was because it was 96% over 13 months. Then it was hitting 80 or 85. We were moving in the right trajectory. And now it's just our legs being cut from under us. Man City are getting away with it. Chelsea are getting away with it. United are getting away with it. They can drop 200 million, not a problem, and they're $1 billion in debt. And I just think it's frustration on all our behalf. And it's just talking about would we sacrifice Rodgers and stuff like that, and the resets. It's just it's pure frustration from my part, I think, and all of us.
I absolutely agree. There's some brilliant points made as well, Paul, there, and while it is, and you know what, that's brilliant. The more I think about it is when do we know if the reset is successful, and how long do we give that reset to be successful? Like we arguably reset after Martin O'Neill and we got relegated. We had the Gerard Houllier days, then we had the Remy Gard days, we had the Roberto Di Matteo days, we had the Steve Bruce days. Like, how long was that reset, essentially, after we saw all the Milners of this world, and all those guys that we had, the Gareth Barrys, the Fabian Delphs, Christian Benteke's, and we did go into the wilderness and we kept on resetting, and we never really got back to where we were until now. So there is that danger in the continual resetting as well, and sending off 2 of your best players or 3 of your best players and saying, oh yeah, but we'll reinvest it. Nothing is guaranteed, I think, and that's a great point as well. Great point.
And I don't think it has been under the last few years with the players coming in, because you look at the back five, they're the same back five that we had 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, there's an argument to say that Man United had the best back five at Arsenal for 10 years, and they built their team off a solid back five. But we're still looking at Matty Cash and right back. He's not, he's a solid performer. He's a 6 out of 10. But we're not in a position. We'd love to. Is get an upgrade, and we just can't.
Yeah, I think that's true.
There's been a number of times over the years that, you look at the first Premier League season, we were so close. We just didn't have the mindset to go and win the league that year. The penny pinching towards the back end of that decade when he didn't pay an extra 250 grand for Robbie Keane, and we would have had all his goals to add to what we had. There was a number of times like that. Then we had Randy Lerner, didn't want to spend his money, he wanted out of the club. We've been close so many times, and I think that's what this feels like. I think that's why everybody is just feeling really down on it. And, I'd like to say I've got a rally call to give the fans. I just don't. We did get there has been a tweet apparently from John Townley there, Neil. Somebody has put it in.
Yeah, there is. I'm just reading it here that basically the Jacob Steinberger quotes about a failed, and I was going to get onto this, but we took a call instead, Paddy, when we were talking about it. Jacob Steinberger is as close as you will get to he is West Ham through and through. Loves is part of the West Ham beat reporting and stuff like that. But he's as close as you will get with the Guardian as a West Ham client journalist, from that point of view. And that's fair enough. That's his beat to cover, and that's what you would expect. So he came out and said Villa failed. Townley has said that on the Villa side there's optimism that that there's still time to rumble with regards to this for 48 hours. Now, weigh it up. Both of them have are getting their side from the club. So which club is telling the truth and which club is telling falsities, I suppose, is the is what they get from there as well. But Gareth
what I don't like about this is we've shown our hand. People know that this is going on and they know Paqueta is available. So if it's is something we want, we have to go in and get it and pay whatever is needed. But maybe we're not in position to do so.
Maybe not. Paul, thanks a million for calling in. I really appreciate it. Some super points raised there. Deadly stuff, and call in again in the future. Oh, is he gone? I think he might be gone. Guys, we might actually close the phone lines there. There's a ton of people. I have to say sorry to. There's one man, I don't know who it is, but all that kept on coming up my phone and in WhatsApp was Jonathan. I am so sorry. You must have rang in about 10 times, but we had calls every single time. I do apologize, but I'm going to start doing this in a more regular cadence. Put it this way: we beat Crystal Palace 3-0 tomorrow. You can be fucking sure I will have a phone in to kind of spread the positivity and to absolutely just bask in the positivity before the international break, because I mentioned here that Garrett's a super follower of the podcast, and thank you so much, Garrett. You're really engaging on Twitter and everything, and you are right. This has been a bit doom and gloomy, but I suppose that was the topic that we chose for today. What if anything has confused you? Because I think it has been a confusing off season, but I think for me, I always like to look at it as a glass half full, but you are right in what you say. We're 2 games in, we're in the Europa League, and we've lost a few players, but in Unai, in Unai we trust as well. And look, there's a big 48 hours for the club on the field and off the field as well. So I would have that deal with Monster Energy. Was it Monster Energy that did the deal? No, Red Bull. Jesus, there's any chance I had of getting Red Bull to sponsor the podcast is out the window now, isn't it? But the deal with Red Bull came at the right time, because I'd say Monchi won't sleep for 48 hours now, and he'd be pumped to the gills on Red Bull to try and get transfers over the line. I think I can speak for everybody in this podcast today, everybody who's rang in, everybody who's listened to it, that this one was a good one. I think I no issues with the sound, no issues or anything like that, and some really, really class callers as well. So thank you to everybody who called in. Thank you for everybody who tried to call in and we didn't get to. I really apologize. And as I say, I had to name check Jonathan. I don't know who you are, Jonathan, but I'm so sorry, because you must have rang in about 12 times, but we were on calls and I just kept on missing you. Yeah, I'd love to hear from you in the future and hear from anybody as well. These will become I will be doing these more often now, because the system works more comfortable doing it after such a long period of time. And there'll be times as well where Muck or Paddy will be off following Shelburne too on a Thursday night, and I'll have nothing to talk about and no one to talk to. So might as well get some Villa fans up on the phone-ins as well. So you have to tune in though. I mightn't always announce the phone-ins. It might just happen sporadically as well. So you got to be surprised. But any last bits and pieces, Paddy, do you want to go through before we finish up?
Do you know what? I think the last word should be left for Black Country Villain and his call. And I think everybody, regardless of whether you called in or not, it was the call of the night. And thank you so much for sharing your story with us. And we wish you all the best for the future. And it's great to hear from people who have been in the comments for years and years and years. And to hear from you is brilliant. And to Mika Richards, Vinny has said, the cheek of you for calling him Father Ted. He's messaged me here privately.
Well, yeah,
I think we'd all agree the format worked, Neil. And after our trial run a few weeks ago, I think you've got a spot on tonight. So well done.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much, absolutely everybody for who joined in. We will be doing Team Sheet Tantrum again tomorrow. We'll be doing a post-match podcast. And then the next time you'll see me, I will have some warmer climates. Although I will say I'm sweating buckets in this room again tonight. I don't know what it is, but warmer climes because I'll be away sunning myself for 10 days. But I'm going to come on. I've got a little mini rig here in my in this bag that's going to save my bacon while we're away. That I tested out on the previous podcast we did today about the preview. So we'll bring you stuff as and when we can over over the next 10 days as well. But thanks so much everybody for calling in. Join us again for the Team Sheet Tantrum and the post match tomorrow. And have a brilliant rest of your Saturday night. Stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.